Hey everyone, it's our phone with Grow Automate Scale, where we help coaches, online entrepreneurs leverage the power of Facebook ads to grow, automate, and scale their business. And I am back with another expert interview, and I have Ed with me. Ed, can you tell me your last name? I don't want to mispronounce your last name.
Yeah, no worries. Troxell.
Troxell, Ed Troxell. So
Yes.
Ed is awesome. I connected with Ed a few years ago from a networking group, and I just love his personality. I actually really love his content and the way he puts out too as well. And I think you're going to find it very valuable because we're going to talk about videos. And if you're someone who are like, I want to be more present on social media, I want to do more, but I see that the Instagram, everything is going towards more and more video, and I'm more of an image person, just a post. I think it's going to be an enlightening conversation because sometimes when you hear from an expert who does this, it's something clicks in your head, and I think Ed's going to be the guy for that today. So I'm excited to talk about this, and thank you so much for joining me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and I'm excited to be here and share some golden nuggets for everyone.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So we're going to heavily focus on more organic stuff, not necessarily advertising. I will definitely interject and share some things on advertising because as a company, we run a lot of video ads, and all my clients, I tell them you got to give me video ads, and I script it out for them and say, hey, I need these. I need you to hook, story, call to action, structure it this way, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, and get it to me. And we split test those to see what the results are. So I'm really curious because I'm not an organic guy. So I'm actually curious to learn some things too as well today. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to Ed. Can you just like tell us a little bit about you, man? Like how you got started, how you came
Yeah.
into this, how you became the video guy, and also like who exactly do you prefer to help? Like who's your like where's your bread and butter focus of being able to get the best results for people?
Yeah, such great questions. And it really stems from the pain that we all go through when running our own business, which is how do we market ourselves, right? We get this great idea, we start our business, we might even get some leads and some clients right off the bat, but then there's that moment of I have to market, but I don't know how to market. I haven't been taught how to market. Like there's all these things that start popping up for us, right? And so when I started my business full time a little over 8 years ago, that was one of the questions that popped up was how do I market myself differently?
Mm,
So I have the marketing background, I have the sales background, I've have the communications background. Like I have all of the tools and skill sets there, but I had to change that question for myself and ask myself, how do I market myself differently? And that's when video popped up. And I will
mm.
tell you, I did not want to be or I did not want to be in front of the camera. I wanted to be behind the camera.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
And so that's where I realized if I wanted to be serious about this business and I wanted to get noticed and I wanted to be around for the long haul, I needed to be in front of the camera. People needed to see me. They needed to hear
Hmm.
me. They needed to feel my energy.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
that's something you can't get from a simple post or a graphic or an article. You can get somewhat if you're really good at writing and get the really good graphics, but video is different and it brings things to life. And so
Hmm.
that's how I started my journey with video. And then people started to notice me more. They were seeing me
Hey,
here,
there we go.
there, and then they're like, Ed, you're everywhere. I
Yeah.
want to do that. I want to be neat. I want this. I want that. Can you teach me? Yeah, of course. And so then it started to just become a snowball effect. And while I focus on business coaching and getting people that marketing plan that they need, I also always drive it back to video
Hmm.
because we live in a world where video is king and it's not going
Yeah.
anywhere. And it's what we need in order to be able to connect with one another and know that people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And
Yes, absolutely.
video is the best thing.
I'm glad you mentioned that because the no like and trust factor is harped a lot, and I think a lot of time now people are those who are new into the world. It's like, oh yeah, no like and trust, but those of us who've been in it for a while, it's like, please don't even say it anymore. It's like it's we already know we get it, but it's
Yeah.
so true because you can the connection you make with somebody on video, whether you just like from a simple social post, but even having a coffee chat. on Zoom, like that connection is much greater than just having like a DM conversation. You can have a DM conversation for like a whole day. And the moment you get in a 15-minute video, like the impact on that video is so much greater. You just build the trust at a really, really high level. So I'm really glad you mentioned that because I find that to be true for my own self. And even these conversations, I get to actually connect
Yeah.
with people. And it's like someone I met a few years ago, and we don't hop on video every now and then or really follow every single thing we do on social media, but it's like I didn't forget Ed. It's like all those few years ago. I still remember we had a conversation. We actually made a video, and
Yeah.
it's a very very powerful. And there is a thing when in advertising, especially if you're looking to convert somebody into a client. You need touch points. You need about 7 to 33 touch points, as Jack Canfield says in his book Success. Um, and when you do that, what we'll find out is that if you're just doing static posts and written content, you need more closer to that 33. If you include video, you need closer to the 7 to 10. And
Ooh,
it's a big interesting thing to see. Wait a minute, if I include more videos, I can increase my conversions. When you combine the two, it becomes even more beautiful world because we're not like, and you can I'm not saying only do video or only like one or the
right.
other. It's a combination of both because this was going to
Yes.
really make a big difference. I'm really glad you brought up the know, like, and trust factor. And
Yeah.
so
And speaking
yeah.
on that point, real quick on that point, I love that you just tied that in because it rolls right into this example that just popped up from a while ago. I was doing some cold outreach on Instagram in the DMs. And so I love
Mhm.
that you bring this the DM part up. So for those who aren't familiar, direct message. But what is I always have to teach, it's like I always have to break it down.
Yeah.
So with the what happened was went into my direct messages. I went and sent a video introduction video and text to combined with that video, right? Like it explains what I talked about in the video. And I will tell you, the responses I got were really good. Like one gentleman was like, I get a lot of DMs every
Mm,
day and I don't respond to them. I'm responding to yours. I was really impressed with the video. Thank you. And then we had a conversation and then we did some partnership work for a while. Like
nice.
that's the power of combining those two, right? It's not just let me send a video and hope that they see it, but
Hmm.
send a video and provide context with it because people need to know what they're getting themselves into when they hit that play button. And
Exactly.
you have to think about what are they getting every day from random people that are probably not business focused and are probably not there to do professional things, right? So you have to be able to provide that. So having both video and the text is definitely
Yeah.
key.
Listen, everybody right now listening, I just gave you a nugget, a big fat golden nugget, because that is one of the key things. You see a lot of people do the cold DMs, and I get it all the time of, what if I can get you 15 to 20 clients? And I'm like, okay, you can't do that first of all, so stop lying. You're not gonna do that.
Yes.
But someone messaged me and they shot a video and they're like, hey, I saw your landing page is like this, and this. I think you can really get better conversion rates by adjusting it, right? And I actually had a conversation because I was like, okay, that's valid. That is valid. That's actually helpful. And it took them an extra few minutes to do that. But guess what? You could sit there for 2 hours sending a bunch of duds. You're not going to get you get 2, 3% response on and or take an extra few minutes and send less messages but more impactful messages, and guess what, you're going to get a response video. So we haven't even gone into the topic of today yet, but we just
Right.
started dropping some nuggets on for people. So man, I'm super happy to have you here. Thank you again. So I will say, so just to kind of give a little caveat here, so Ed, primarily you generally specialize in helping women entrepreneurs just cut through the digital chaos, right? Can you tell
Yes.
to me a little bit more about that? Exactly. What do you do? What's your bio?
Yeah, so I'm really helping out professionals, and typically I attract women professionals in being able to declutter, right? Being able to get unstuck and simplify the
Hmm.
business so that they can increase their sales and feel empowered and have more yes moments. I'm all about getting
Yeah, I
those
like
yes
that.
moments and being able to have essentially more time back so that they don't feel guilty with spending their time elsewhere when they could be spending it with their family and friends.
Hmm. That's awesome. That's very
Yeah.
cool. That's very cool. Um, so Ed came on today and we were talking, and Ed decided that he is gonna teach us about the wonderful world of social media, this particular video, but helping us to make sense of it because it's one of those things where if you've been in it a while, you've seen that social media has evolved and it's becoming more and more of a video platform. Um, about 70 to 80% of the content consumed on social media right now is video. If you're on YouTube, 100% is video. So it's massive and it's only growing and there's only more and more placements of videos and it's constantly changing. So someone coming in now or I've been in for a while looking to say, hey, I want to level up. I really want to take where I am and I want to get more. I want to get more results. How do we start making sense of social media and how to incorporate video into things?
Such a great question. So really it's going to start with taking a look at what have you been doing, right? We opened up with that question of what do I do with my marketing? How do I
Mm,
market myself, right? And so you're probably already doing that. Those who are tuning in, you're probably already doing some kind of marketing, but now it's the time to
yes.
take a step back and look at what marketing are you doing? Where are you showing up? For example, I know a lot of people will show up on Instagram because
Hmm.
they personally love that platform better than, say, Facebook. And
Yes.
they're posting on Instagram, but they're not getting a whole lot of traction and they're beating themselves up because they're like, I post and I don't get a whole lot of traction from this. And yes, there's many factors around that, especially currently with Instagram just being a hot mess right now. Um,
Yeah.
but when we start to take a look at, well, who is your audience? And we get back to, are your people on Instagram? And if so, are they on Instagram looking for services or products like yours?
Hmm.
That's where the disconnect I see often come across, where a lot of people are targeting more seasoned customers. And yes, they may be on Instagram, but guess what? They're interacting on Facebook.
Mm,
Facebook's their main spot to hang out.
yeah.
Whereas Instagram, they might have a profile and they might be, paying attention to the kids or the grandkids and kind of just seeing their photos. But their chances are they're not looking for services or products like yours. And you're
Hmm.
sitting there pumping out all this great, amazing content, but you're not doing it over on Facebook because you don't like the platform.
Mm. That's a pretty good point because I find that to be a lot of like most of my friends,
Yeah.
uh, if we interact or actually have a conversation, it's through Facebook. Everything on Instagram is always just a funny video.
Yeah.
Just like they share a funny video or something like that. It's never really anything like, hey, you gotta check out this person and what they're doing or something like that, or look at this service or offers. Those are typically on my Facebook side, but on Instagram it's all just kitties and animals and let's laugh and let's look at someone hurt themselves and laugh and
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
Yeah, so it's like really take a look at one, how do you interact? Like you were just giving that example, and seeing how to use the platforms, and then two, also thinking about your customers, like where are they hanging out? Chances are they're on all the major platforms, Facebook, Instagram,
Mm,
LinkedIn. I know some of you probably aren't on LinkedIn for, or maybe have a profile and it's been 10 years since you last checked it, but those major profiles, of course, there's TikTok and other ones as well, but
yes.
just keeping it simple, those three major ones, chances are your audience is on each and every one of those, but they're doing something different for each and every one of those.
Hmm.
So it's your job to figure out where you should be showing up and what you should be delivering on that platform.
Yeah. So how does one go about figuring that out? So for example, um, let's say I want to figure this out once and for all. I want to say, hey, where's the best platform for me to focus majority, 80% of my time? You got TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Um, what's your methodology for it? Like how long do you spend on a platform before you say, you know what? That's it. I'm
Uh,
moving away from that. I'm not going to do TikTok or Instagram. I gave it X amount of time.
yeah.
What's your stance on that?
That's a great question. The default answer is it depends. And also, I am a big fan of being on a present on all the platforms, even if you're This might ruffle some feathers, but even if you're sharing the same content across all the channels, right? We only
Hmm.
have so much time in a day. We only have so much time to create that creative offer or post or video or whatever. So I'm all about
Hmm.
like maximizing, your efforts. And so
Yeah.
pick a platform that you're comfortable with. So if we go back to that example for Instagram, and that's where you're comfortable using that, great. Use it and use Facebook.
Mm.
Be able to put it over there. And hopefully it's at a different time. It's not that one slide button on Instagram that says
Yeah.
post to Facebook. You could, again, whatever gets the job done at the beginning to get you into a system, into a cycle, right? We need to form that habit and then start to collect the data from these platforms to see who is paying attention to us. Are
Hmm.
those the right people? And then we can adjust. And so chances are you're probably not going to know until at least 3 to 6 months later because you want to build up that data, and that's
Hmm.
only going to come if you actually post consistently. And so that's where it comes back to what's the system that you have in place. Are you posting once a week? That's a bare minimum, by the way. Bare
Bare
minimum.
minimum, at least once a week.
Yes, if you can
Gotcha.
do more, great. You should. Do you have to do 3 to 5 times a day? Absolutely not.
Hmm.
Sure, there's people out there saying that you do, but you don't. Um, but minimum once a week, and then collect that data and then start to see what gets attention. And I'll tell you right now, chances are, especially in today's world, chances are you're not going to get a ton of likes, comments, and shares on your content. You might, and that's great, but don't just base it off of those vanity metrics, we call it. Instead, pay attention to what conversations it's starting. And that can
Hmm.
happen in the DMs, like we were talking about. That can happen in your email inbox. That can happen in your text messages, depending on how you direct people and what your channel of communication is. But
Yeah.
understand that marketing, and especially the organic marketing here on social media, it's not just I posted on Instagram and I'm not seeing a direct result from it on Instagram. It's all about putting in those reps. It's like going to the gym. You know, I want a six pack. Am I magically going to have a six pack when I walk in the doors? No. If
Yeah.
we did, that would be amazing. And they could charge millions of dollars a month and we would still buy it, right?
Yeah.
But we have to work at it. And it's only going to be from us walking through those doors, doing the exercise and doing it consistently. And then also paying attention to things outside of that, right? When we add in the food and other things. So
Hmm.
it's all about getting into a system.
A good system. I like that too. And so just a couple takeaways there that I
Yeah.
heard is going to be to post consistently, at least once a week, and do it. There's a timing of at least 3 to 6 months, and there's not like exact, like it's not exactly three, four, 5, or 6. It could be 6.5, 7. It's more or
Yep.
less going to be based off of what you're seeing. If you're posting and 4 or 5 months go by and you haven't had anybody interact with you, people not really engaging in your thing, no one's even trying to paying any attention to you, it's not working. The writing's on the wall. Like you gotta you gotta move on. You're in the wrong spot, or your content might just suck, right?
Exactly. And that also is a good point because you could be posting consistently, and I've seen this happen before too. You could be posting consistently, but what's in that post? So let's just say you have a great photo or a great video, and I say great, it could be good enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what's in the caption? Because
Mm.
oftentimes people won't fill out the caption, or they do with a couple things like this was great, but then there's no context to the post. And those are
Yeah.
searchable keywords that, or you can put keywords, I should say, in the caption to help people find it through search. They also are missing out on a call to action, whether that's comment below, send us a message, put this in the comments, go download my freebie, like whatever it is, we
Mm-hmm.
need to be told what to do because
Yeah.
we're consuming and we need to be able to have that stop. Here's an action.
And that's the same thing for like advertising. When we think about advertising, and whether it's a still graphic or an ad copy or things like that, like if there's no call to action, the result I can already look at an ad and say, hey, your cost is going to be high. It's not going to produce the really great results because, and just making a switch to the call to action, and we can see differences. And one thing too is actually how you write the call to action. If I just say, if it's just like, hey, comment below to get whatever the case is, um, or if there's a link, or like check the first comment below for a link to sign up, you're going to get different results depending what your call to action is, and you do got to play with what those call to actions are. And speaking from an advertising perspective, like that's huge.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things. Like you got to have that call to action, otherwise the advertising is going to flop. And the whole goal of advertising is to get results right away. Like you're trying to attract people, convert typically within a few days to like few weeks.
Yeah.
So the call to action is huge. It's very, very huge. Okay. So I get that. Choose a platform. Really, if you're going to test it properly, not just a week, not 2 weeks, not just,
Right.
hey, I put 4 posts up there and nothing happened. Give it consistency at least once a week, if not closer to maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and do it consistently for a good 3 upwards of 6 months, and look at the stats you're getting before making a decision to move off of that, right? Okay, speaking to the person now who is like, okay, hey, I get that. I'm good. I'm committed. I can do that. And I can hit up TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and I'm pretty sure I can get one post at least across the board. But when it comes to video, I'd rather not. What let's chat about that real quick. What do you
Yeah.
what kind of words of advice do you have for someone to just encourage them to start showing up more confidently on video, or just even putting their face out there, versus the
Yeah.
back of their heads?
It's so true. So true. This is the biggest hurdle that I had to overcome, and so many people that I've worked with and people that I talk to in general who are on video have to overcome, is being okay with how we look and sound on video. Like
Hmm.
that, we're our worst critics. I
It's true.
hated hearing my voice. I hated seeing myself on camera. And I had to be okay with that because the alternative was worse, not
Hmm.
having a business, right?
Yeah.
And so we all struggle with that piece of the video journey that we're on here. And so one thing to do to help get comfortable with it, because when we say go record a video and post it, that's it might seem simple, but it's not easy for a lot of people. And that just the thought of recording a video, let alone posting it publicly for somebody else to see it, is enough to freak somebody out and not want to do anything, right? Like you get the
Hmm.
sweaty armpits, you're shivering, you're like, no. And then
Hmm.
it's just a done deal. So you have to ease into it and figure out where to start. And the best place for most people, again, it depends on everyone's situation, but the best part is starting with what's comfortable. So grab your phone and simply record a video. You're not going to post it anywhere. You're literally going to record a video and then you're going
Hmm.
to delete it later. But
Hmm.
just being able to get comfortable with holding up your phone and recording. Now, if that's even too much to hit that record button, I know it sounds silly, but even if that is too much, literally just get comfortable with holding your phone at almost eye level or a little bit higher up. Because this alone can be awkward because we're not
Hmm.
used to this, right?
Yeah.
This is just not an angle. Well, one, it's usually not an angle we're talking to. And two, we're usually doing this if we really like being on the phone, or
Yeah.
we're doing this where we're just texting, right? We're
Or
looking
on
down.
speakerphone holding it, something like that. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So just even getting it up a little high and holding it is enough for you to start to practice. Again, we're just trying to walk in the doors of the gym, right?
Hmm.
What can we do to get in there? So this is like opening the door. It's like, oh, okay, great. Now I'm
I
done,
love that. I love that. That's really good. One of the things that I did a lot when I first started my journey and starting to get on video.
Yeah.
I go for like walks in the morning, typically before the sun comes up, things like that. And that's a lot. That's a time where I feel really like close to just energy source, God, whatever you want to call it. And I get a lot of like downloads and messages. And sometimes I'll take out my phone and I'll just like talk to myself and just do like a journal entry or a diary entry to myself. And I'll just do like a message. And a number of ways. First, it just kind of be like hair to the side or like this. And this is something that has helped me a lot. And I'm not even joking when I say I do this because like I just did this last week and I'll show it here because we're on camera. But you
Yeah.
can see I was in Tennessee in the Great Smoky Mountains and I just did a video. And this is
Oh,
just a journal entry.
perfect.
I was just talking to myself, just kind of sharing what was going on, how I was feeling, or at least what was coming to me. And it desensitizes you to listen, hearing your own voice in a negative way.
Yeah.
And it's also like it trains you because now you're building new neural pathways of like, hey, I can do this. It's easy.
Right.
It's simple. I don't sound like a jupe. I sound okay. My voice is my voice. It helps. And one thing big for me, as you mentioned this, is just like when I first just hearing someone even say that they like someone that's on video, like I struggled with video, like that helps me a lot because I've come across like big influencers that are like huge millions and millions of followers who said that and I'm like what, like I could never even imagine. I thought you're the most confident person in the world to say you struggled with recording a podcast, you struggled with like what my mentor has done over 5,000 webinars, and to be like, hey, in the first 100 webinars I was scared to even pitch. I'm like, your first
Right.
100? Like, yeah, like I just passed my first 100 webinar, and I'm like, I wasn't scared to pitch. So just even knowing that, it's like, wait, I'm actually not as far off or far back as I can make it play it out to be in my head, and
Right.
like it really helps a lot. So I appreciate you even just kind of giving everyone that encouragement that hey, you're not alone in this. Everybody has an uncomfortableness when it comes to, I say everybody, but 98% of people has uncomfortableness when it comes to being on video. And especially if you're a business owner, asking about your services or telling about your services or providing value to strangers on the internet. We all feel a certain way about that. Even this interview right now, I felt
Yeah.
like it was such a hard thing to be like, hey, I'm looking for people who want to be a guest expert on my YouTube channel. But I was like, I post up there. I don't know if anyone's going to respond or not, but they do great. If not, whatever.
Yeah.
But just taking action and just going with it. And it's beautiful. I've enjoyed all these conversations. I'm enjoying our conversation right now too. So a lot can come
Yeah.
from just picking back. I love that tip you gave. I think it's excellent.
Well, and you bring up a great point too. We're talking about social and we're now expanding past that for people. Just I want to point that out because so many of the conversations that I have around video and marketing always default typically to social media, which is fine because
Hmm.
that's a big part. But I want to remind everyone that this is maybe where you start with your videos for, let's say, Instagram or TikTok, because you're like, I really want to be on this platform. I really want to get good at video. That's where you start, but understand like this is going to evolve into every aspect of your life, both
Yes.
personally and professionally. And what we were talking about, you go into the ads, you start to add in videos for webinars. Let's talk about online courses. Everyone has a course in them. They want to have a course. Well, guess what? You got to be on video. Then you have your website. If you add video to a landing page, you are going to increase your chances of conversion. And I forget, I want to say it's 80%. That might be confused with another 80%, but it's a lot. It's at least
Hmm.
50% over what you want. So just keep in mind that video starts to show up in every aspect. And also email. We talked about direct messages, but also to point out email. I have one client who looks for sponsorships. And once she started adding email to her, or sorry, video to her emails, reaching out for
Hmm.
sponsorships, not only did she get the sponsorship, but she also got compliments and they were asking how she did it because they needed to do that for their email
Mm.
communication. Right. And
That's
so
awesome.
it's not just about public uh, areas like social media and your website, but it's also about those private one-on-one conversations you're
Hmm.
having with people,
Yeah.
whether warm leads or cold.
I want to touch on a point you just did because we run a lot of advertising to webinars, challenges, master classes, all these online
Ah,
events.
yes.
And those are not social media. Those are actual live trainings that are going to be 45 minutes to an hour or so. And as a business owner, I've seen the power in just one webinar generating $250,000, one webinar generating $1 million. And if you think of it like, hey, how do I scale my business? It starts with picking up that phone and doing that, the desensitizing from video. Because if you have a desire to sell to many people, it typically will be done in a format like that over a masterclass, a webinar, or some sort of training in the online community. And
Yeah.
in order to convert, like there's a comfortableness that has to happen on camera to be able to just show your natural energy. And the more you do it, the more you get used to talking to that eyeball lens and
Right.
realizing that I'm not just talking to the lens, there are people behind it. And that was one thing that changed for me too as well. When I first started doing it, I started going live on Facebook and people commented back.
Yeah.
It started taking the pressure off so much because now it was like, oh, I was having a conversation with somebody versus just talking to the camera. And going live actually surprisingly helped me more for video because now it's like, oh,
Yes.
I'm actually getting direct interaction, and it feels like it is a friends and family. People who know me for years. It's not so awkward anymore. And
Yeah.
it became less awkward for people. So to your point though, for the landing page, right? So for us, we don't, when we're running ads, we don't put videos on the actual main landing page because it slows it down. But statistic wise, we always include or try to always include a video on the thank you page. And what we
Ah,
notice is
yes.
it's at least a 50% click-through rate on whatever the offer is on the thank you page. Whether it's just like, hey, click here to get a PDF for free, or click here to join my Facebook group or something like that, we get a significant increase when we have a video. And I'll give an example. I was running I do Facebook ads, right? So I had a offer I was running, which is how to create effective Facebook ads. And on my thank
Ah,
you page, I put a little $17 course that I created on the video walkthrough of that. When I first did this, it was just static image with a bunch of text, and I was getting like a 1.5, 2% conversion rate. And I saw someone doing a video, and I was like, oh, I could do that too. So I recorded a quick. It was like 7 o'clock at night. I had to wrinkled up shirt, all these things. I didn't care. And I recorded this quick 3.5, 4 minute video. And all of a sudden my conversion rate went to 7.5%. People purchasing my thing. And it was because of the video, I can guarantee, because I didn't do it before and I changed. That was the only change I made and
yes.
automatically started increasing it. So in my training as far as online marketing, it's always that people are most excited for your stuff when they get to the thank you page. When they see something like, hey, this is going to help me out. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna click it. I want to see this. And then they sign up and they get a thank you page. And it feels great when you just like, hey, thanks so much for signing up.
Right.
My name is Arfon. I recognize you because I know you want to improve your business and you're looking to find ways to generate more leads. And you realize Facebook ads is the way. And just kind of interacting like that automatically increases that relationship. So great point. I know from our experience that plays a huge role in increasing conversion rates. For not just people signing up more, but actually conversion rates of the offers and selling more stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And that's because, they get to see you, they get to feel you. And now you've also helped confirmed whatever they purchase, whether free or paid,
Mm.
they are now like, okay, good. It's kind of like, you go to the checkout and you're like, oh my gosh, my bill was $100. I spent all this money. And then you have this friendly checker who's like, hey, thanks. Have a great day. And you're like, oh, okay. Yes, I will. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, whoop, I think I lost Ed for a second, guys. Give me a
Just,
second
it's a
here.
nice change in the atmosphere.
Okay. You froze on my end there for a second, so hopefully it was all
Oh,
good on the end. But I got your point as far as like just the atmosphere and the energy there. So like if you paid a lot more just because the energy was there, you have a great reminder of it. That's for restaurants and all that stuff too. So
yeah.
that's a great point. Um, so man, this is so helpful. I think a lot of people who are just like facing or just having that fear of being on camera, if you take a time, just take at least once a day, just pull the
Yeah.
camera out. Even if you're not recording, if you just turn the camera, turn on your webcam and sit there for a second, just realize that it's okay.
Yep.
You're okay, right? Your nervous system just has to get regulated for a quick second. That
Right.
that initial rush that's like, ah, crap, I'm on camera. Once
Yeah.
that goes away, it's like, okay, I'm cool. It's not a big deal anymore. And everyone has a different layer of that where it may take a longer or less. But what I was saying and why I take away is just get in the habit of doing it. It's just like going to the gym. You just got to walk through the door. Doesn't matter if you get an amazing workout or not. You still showed up. You still did the work, and that right there is going to pay dividends in the future
Yeah.
greatly. So,
Oh yeah, it's all
um,
about us training our minds, right? Our brain is so smart, it believes what we tell it. And so as we start to reprogram ourselves, I can do this. I got this.
mm,
I am doing this and this was great. It's starting to, yes, you're
mhm,
true. And when it comes to being on camera, we were talking about this prior to recording, is lighting. Like, as you guys are watching this, hopefully you're tuning into the video piece, you're seeing the light that we have. And this
mhm.
is where one, lighting does wonders for you. Trust me. Not only does it remove wrinkles, but it also helps you feel more empowered. It gives you
That's
that
true.
confidence boost. And you really do have a whole different outlook on things. So my big thing is always lighting. Others will have, different pieces, but then also wear something that's comfortable for you. It could
Mhm.
be a simple bracelet. Maybe you have a snap bracelet that you're using. It could be one of my clients, she always has to have her lip gloss before, this is chapstick, but you have your lip
I
gloss
guess yeah.
before, yeah, before being on camera,
I
because
have a
that
bra.
is, oh, there, yeah, see,
I just
it's
hold it.
like,
It just keeps my hands from sweating too much.
yeah, or have a cup nearby, right? Because it's something that helps us feel more comfortable. And maybe you're wearing that outfit on the outside that you're like, this looks professional. It feels really uncomfortable, but it looks good on camera. Well, then wear a shirt underneath that's comfortable, that maybe is
Mhm.
your favorite holy shirt. It doesn't have to have, holy, it can have actual holes in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it's stuff that, what do you feel comfortable with? That
Hmm.
will help you feel more comfortable on camera, especially location. Last point on that is just location. It doesn't feel good. I'm standing right now. It does not feel good when I sit and record something. So
Mm.
I very
That's a good point.
rarely do I sit. However, if I'm in the car, I'm sitting and I'm comfortable recording in the car, which most people will be comfortable recording in the car versus anywhere else, especially
Mm.
agents, real estate agents. Like that's their world, right?
Yeah.
So just understand that your environment also will help you feel more or less comfortable where you're
Hmm.
recording.
Yeah, so such environment for success. And I know that's a big one for me. It's like if my back hair is a mess, I don't feel like going
Yeah.
on camera.
Yeah.
Or if my desk is all cluttered, I'm not gonna really feel like going on video or doing trainings or anything like that. I need to get this thing. So your environment plays a big role. And that's something too for the gym, for as an example. The if you interview people who are extremely fit and healthy, and you just look at what's the biggest difference between them,
Yeah.
their environment is what's different. Their environment is set up for success. Like they actually, before they go to bed, they're taking out their clothes for the next day if we go to the gym, right? They're having these things. If you go to their pantry, there's not a whole bunch of junk and sweets. It's because now they have no choice but to eat healthy because it's just not available. If they want a treat, they're gonna go out and drive and get a treat. It's a little different thing. So similarly, as online business owners, if you're gonna be on video, set yourself up for it. If you don't like your webcam, just go to Walmart, spend a 30, 40, $50 or $100 to get a good camera, or
Right.
use your phones, get a tripod, set it up or so, but
Yep.
make it simple, and that goes a very long way. That's a great suggestion. Um, Now, all right, so increase in confidence, really getting there, because if you think of your business and you're looking to scale and looking to go from multiple five figures to six figures to seven figures, you're going to want to, amplify that. And the moment we start thinking about, okay, how do we grow and use a video, this is where now it started going into like advertising and all those other pieces. And before
Yeah.
you get to an advertising, like, so for example, someone coming to me and I'm asking for videos, there's a certain standard or quality we're looking for that. Like we're gonna push ad spend behind this. We don't want just like a silly, not a silly, let me take that back. No, we don't want something that's gonna be um hurtful to the brand in a sense of as a low quality or poor video or poor messaging, poor lighting, environments choppy or things like that. It has to be crisp and clear. And there's following these process to get there.
Yeah.
Now when it comes to the point of like, hey, I'm looking to do an ad. You get excited for it because you've already built up this muscle to record,
Right.
and you're excited to actually produce videos. And a lot of my clients, I tell them, hey, send me 3, 4 videos, and I get 8, 9. I'm like, man, you really love
Yes.
that script because it really, I have a simple script, by the way, I'll share right now. It's a stupid simple script. It's always hook, story, call to action, right? And it's always
Yeah.
like, hey, ideal client, are you? And you just talk about the pain point and the story, and then the call to action, like sign up for here. And as a quick
Love it.
thing, no matter who it is, you can sit there and you can say, hey, realtors, are you having a hard time lead generating to get sellers or whatever the case is? If so, sign up for my free training where I talk about how to acquire more seller leads in 10 minutes a day. And boom,
Love it.
all of a sudden, the quality of the content is better because it's so specific and direct. There's a confidence that comes out because this stuff, right? Like, we know these things. So now the person watching is like, man, that's the person to help me. That's the person who's actually gonna get me some results or something like that. And it plays a big role. So I love that. All right. So the other thing I think a lot of people get stuck on, I did too at the beginning, is we're on video, we're starting to get more comfortable, but then we're like, well, what do I talk about really? Like, like Arfan, how am I gonna do an hour masterclass, a webinar? Like, I'm struggling. I could just get through a 1, 2 minute, 4 minute video. Like, how do I actually get to that? So,
Right.
not knowing what to talk about, can be a challenge for some people, right?
Yeah. Oh, big time, big time. And that typically that's how people fall into the video world is I don't know what to talk about. Like they're focused so much on the content that that's what automatically is the default for I can't go on video, right? And
Mm,
so if we take a step back, chances are you have already content. So anybody who's listening, you probably already have a ton of content that you've already produced, whether that's a video or sorry, a blog post, a social media post, or a website page, for example, your FAQs. Um,
hmm.
there's so much content that you already have created that now you get to keywords, get to
Yeah, you get
bring it
to.
to life with video. So you already
Mm,
have the script. That's the
I love
beauty of
that.
it. We just have to find out where you want to start. So if you're having trouble with that, start with your FAQs. There you
Hmm.
go. You probably have at least 5 to 10 FAQs, whether they're on your website, in your head, on a Google Doc, whatever.
Hmm.
That's your 5 to 10 videos that you're going to start recording today.
That's awesome. I love that. And I think if you do have a blog, if someone listening right now like, hey, I have a blog and I got about 20, 30, 40 posts, that's
Yeah.
20, 30, 40 videos. Every single blog you have can include a video. And probably right now, like what it was mentioned earlier about sending a DM with a video and the written part of it, you already got the written part of it. All you gotta do now is get a
Yes.
video and add that video to your blog. And I'm pretty sure you could probably start seeing instant results, just increasing just by doing that. And I think that's awesome.
Oh yeah. Isn't that great? And I just have to point out, like, we did not script this conversation, but look how awesome everything is just like flowing into each other and like circling back to what we started with on the beginning of this conversation. It's like, again,
Yeah.
it's all about what can we do and what can come
Hmm.
into it, right? So Google loves that. Google loves to see us not only create a blog post, but add to it. And so having the written form and having the video is going to help you so much because
Mm.
not only with Google, but when people come to a blog post, they want to be able to have choices. So I can watch the
Hmm.
video or read, I can watch the video and read, or vice versa, right? It gives them
Yeah.
that choice. And chances are most people are going to watch the video, to be honest,
Yeah.
but it helps you in many ways to have
Yeah.
both.
And I think most of us can resonate the fact that, hey, I woke up at 1 o'clock, 2:30 in the morning, and I just something I'm just thinking about stuff when I go and I'm researching. I come across a video and I'm like, man, I can't really listen to this YouTube video. My wife's sleeping next to me. My kids are gonna be,
Right.
you know what I mean? So I would love to actually read an article or something like that. And there, boom, you got them. So it's like things that we don't have to think about, but it's just the way the world works. And
Yep.
there's someone that's a night owl that just stays up late and they like to read and things like that. So it definitely can get people. But the whole thing is you have a video there, it just increases that trust so much more. and it's just
Oh
they
yeah.
automatically puts you in a position of authority because it's not just a written article now. It's a video accompanying it, and it gives that perceived value, that net presence of, hey, this is an expert, this is an authority figure, and I think it goes a very long way. So, I think it's we covered a lot of different things here, right? Some of the major ones, like just kind of being camera shy or camera fearful of the camera, um, figuring out what to talk about. Um, the other one that kind of comes to mind is going to be the time, right? I'm pretty sure this is like one of the most common objections for whenever you're selling a program or something like that. It's really, will it work for me? Is and am I going to have the time to do it? So if anything, there's going to be time. So when it comes to video and someone can get in their head, when I first started, I got in my head as far as I'm going to record a video, I got to edit and do all these different things, and it's going to be time. Like, so someone who's like kind of in that same mindset or struggling with that same thing, what kind of advice do you have for them?
Yes. So time is one of the biggest, I always say excuses. I know it's going to ruffle feathers, but it really is. It's one of the biggest excuses as to why people don't get on video. Right next to, I don't know what to talk about. Like those are probably the two biggest ones that prevent people. The third one would probably be technology, which again, they're just excuses because when we look at them, we can break them down. So when it comes to time, it really is as simple as putting it in your calendar as if it was a client appointment.
Mm,
Again, there's things that we can work on to help you get to that, but at a high level, it's really just making the time for it and committing to that time on your calendar. So our to-do list is so full most of the time, right? Where there's so many things that we put on our to-do list, and we'll get to them when we get to them. But when we start to add something in our calendar, a specific day, a specific time, and a specific task, we're more likely to get it done. And if we treat it like a client appointment, it's going to get done. Like we're
mm,
going to actually do it. So we have to remember that for that piece. And so really it's being able to make that time for it, and you have to commit. I mean, at the end of the day, we shared all these amazing golden nuggets. There's so many things that one could take from this episode and go and run with it. But at
yeah.
the end of the day, you actually have to commit to it. It's not just
Hmm.
this was great,
True.
I love it someday. No, either do it or don't and move on. So then that way the listener, aren't stressing about, I know I need to do video and it's going to happen someday and
Hmm.
I need to get the right camera. I need to do it or don't. Like
Hmm.
that's it. Move on, right? So being able to add it to your calendar is the big one.
Yeah, and nowadays, like that comment about needing the right camera, I will guarantee that I'll probably say about 80-90% of people now, your cell phone camera is
Mhm.
good enough. The
100%.
front facing cell phone, not even the rear facing with the better quality, the
Right.
front facing is enough because
Yeah.
the technology nowadays and how it's advanced, like you have a 10, 15, 20 megapixel camera on the front there. And that's
Yeah.
plenty to record something in HD to get a video out there. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. And
Right.
anything else, treat it for what it is. It's an excuse and really analyze and see like, wait, how can I, get rid of this excuse? Because you have everything you need to do what you need to do. And it's just a matter of getting out your own way. And also really thinking like, okay, I gotta train my brain because I naturally
Yes.
don't want to do this. I need to really train my brain to do that. So
Oh, 100%.
yeah, for
And
sure.
that's the
For
thing.
sure.
Yes, it is hard to do this on your own, which is why you have coaches available, which is why
Yeah.
you're able to take that next step and get support, because it may sound simple, but it's not easy when you're on your own trying to do all of that, right?
Hmm.
And then, I can already hear people thinking, okay, well, if I add it to my calendar, but then I got to record it, but then I got to also edit, and they haven't even recorded their first video. They don't even know what they're
Hmm.
going to talk about in the first video that they need to record, right?
Yeah.
So it's always being 10 steps ahead and backing up and saying, let's just do step one, and
Hmm.
then we'll figure out step two and step three.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you a question, and I want to preface this because I think it's something really important, and I don't think I'll get canceled or ruffle any feathers. It's just something that I really want to address though, because like you
Yeah.
mentioned that you attract a lot of women, right? And
Yeah.
you help women. When it comes to videos, being on camera confidently, um, do you see a difference as far as like the, the more willingness or the like
Uh,
approaching it? There's a difference between men versus women when it comes to actually producing video content and getting on video. Like, what's the difference you see there?
I think probably in general, and obviously we're at such a generalization here, but I think at in general, it's typically women are more willing to ask for support to take it to the next level. Whereas
Hmm.
with us guys, we try to figure it out on our own. Like
Yeah.
we're like, we're good, we'll figure it out. And we don't read the instructions. We just open up the box and it's like, well, we got a couple extra screws. We'll put in a can in the garage and we'll use it for something else, right?
Yeah.
Like it that's just how it rolls oftentimes. So I think that that's probably the biggest one because at the end of the day, we all, doesn't matter what our gender is, we all struggle with public speaking and being on
Hmm.
video. I mean, public speaking by itself is hard enough. And that has been, we've known that for many years. Now we have
Hmm.
to throw ourselves in front of video, which opens us up to so much more of an audience online.
Yeah.
Of course, yes, that is scary. Trust me. I know. But what's also probably more scary is that your ideal client is out there probably going to get taken advantage of from somebody who is not qualified like you and needs that
Hmm.
help, but they're just going to go with whoever they find. So that's why it's important for us to show up,
Hmm.
deliver our expertise, and engage with our people however and wherever we can, even if they're not buying today, because the sale will always come at some point later. So don't
Yeah.
worry about the sale today. Worry about the conversation and establishing that relationship.
That's awesome. I'm glad you mentioned that because similarly, I also attract a lot of women come to me for running Facebook ads, and it's one of those things where if you look at my testimonials, I have like two or three guys, and everything else is women.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. They are more willing to ask for help as compared to guys, where guys more want to just do it on their own. It's like,
Right.
I'll do it on my own. Like, you're already running three businesses. What are you gonna do ads on your own? Let someone else do that. Relax. Stop it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think from a confidence standpoint, I see now and again, taking them, I mean, bringing gender into this. Obviously,
Yeah.
we all want to do that, but I see there is a big need, especially for being surrounded in the environment, like being surrounded by other people who are also showing up and doing video, right? Because guess what? That's going to encourage you. If you see your good friend Sue just posted
Right.
a video, that's going to be more encouraging than if you have nobody in your environment doing videos and all you see is just post. Because you're like, oh, I don't see anyone else doing videos, or none of my peers are doing videos. Only the people who do videos are the ones who are big and this and that. Is going to be
Right.
discouraging. But if you surround yourself with the right environment, if you get the right people in your environment, it's going to also encourage you to start being like, hey, okay, I'm gonna do a webinar because my friend just did a webinar and they made 10K.
Yes.
They made 10K.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it now. So I'm gonna try it out, see what's gonna happen. It just opens up that door. So I appreciate you sharing that. So
Yeah.
and we've been talking for about an hour now, and I want to be respectful of your time because I got you for an hour, and I want to press that too
Yeah.
much. We can definitely in the future get a part two or
Yeah.
continue this conversation too as well for others who may be interested in learning more about it. But I want to give everyone an opportunity if they like, if they resonate with Ed, you're like, hey, I am looking for support or to really up level my video, get there and start marketing, do something that's going to make me market better organically and through on socials. What's a great way for people to get a hold of you or to get some resources
Ooh.
from you?
Yeah, so it's going to be on my website, but I'll give out two specifics here because one, if you just want to have a conversation right off the bat, it's just going to be edtroxell.com forward slash chat. So edtroxell.com forward slash chat. That will take you
Hmm.
right to my calendar. And so we can have a conversation to actually learn more about each other and give you more specifics around your business and taking things to the next level, whether it's with myself or somebody else. I always like to have that option for people. Um,
Perfect.
and then we were talking about time and not having enough time in our day to do XYZ. We talked about
Yeah.
video specifically, but let's face it, we are busy and we don't have enough time to do content creation or marketing or whatever the case may be. So I put together a profit from productivity guide. So anybody
Mm.
can download that for free if they just go to edtroxel.com/guide. So edtroxel.com/guide, and they'll be able to get the profit from productivity guide for free.
Perfect. So what I'll do is I'll drop those links in the description below so you guys can grab that. Very simple. But if you're looking for support now, you're like, hey, I want to uplevel my video. I want to do this. I want to do it right, and I'm not trying to play around. Get with Ed. Go to edtroxel.com. That's edtroxell.com/chat. Get on his calendar and chat with him, and I'll also put that free resource he has so you can get that too as well if time is a legit concern for you. Because it is for a lot of people, time is a legitimate concern, and I get that. So,
Oh yeah.
um, so man, I appreciate you so much spending some time with me today and just kind of pouring out to the audience and sharing, giving some valuable tips. I think anyone listen to this who's really looking to up level their marketing and want to know like, hey, what are some simple things you can do to up level your marketing? This is a great place to start. If you're not doing video, start right there. If you got a bunch of blog posts that doesn't have videos to it, look and see what are the top five. At least you can get some blog posts so you can convert to a video, put a video on there, and start getting some better results. Your social posts too as well. Every post you've already done in the past that had good results, do it again as a video, and
Yes.
you can start seeing some just some shifts, some changes, and get in the habit of it. Do it imperfect, fall,
Yes.
get back up, do it again. It's okay. Worst case, you got a delete button and you're good to
Right.
use it, right? You got permission to use that delete button if you need to. So,
Yeah.
Ed, final words of wisdom that you want to share. Take 60 seconds or so. I'll just toss it over. Anything you want to share before we wrap up? Have at it.
Really, the three keys to success. It's show up, deliver, and engage. That's it. That's all you need to do. Once you worry about doing those three things, everything else will start to come much easier to you.
Awesome. Love that so much. Show up, deliver, engage. And I see it behind you there. And I was very
Yep.
curious, is that an actual Blockbuster like video VHS case from back in the days? Can you bring that
It's
up? Is that
it's
possible to
it's
show some
a
people it?
so I couldn't help myself because it's actually a game. I haven't played it, but it's a board game apparently, but I haven't
Oh,
opened
okay,
it
okay.
because I bought it a couple years ago for Christmas time. It was a gift, and I was like, I want to buy this for myself because obviously I do video, but this is also goes back to growing up and
Yeah.
just being able to go to the video store. And who doesn't love Blockbuster? So it's kind of like that
Yeah.
memento that I have.
That's really awesome. I just saw Airbnb did a thing where they actually listed the block, but there's only one Blockbuster remaining, right? So
Oh yeah.
they listed it, and you were able to stay there for a night, and actually have like a couch and all that stuff, a little bed. You were able to actually rent it out on Airbnb and stay there. And it's gonna like it's supposed to be something that's well, it was really cool. I'm like, man, that's nostalgia. Really gives like
Yeah.
the 90s vibe. Like they created this whole 90s
Right.
vibe of, being able to rent the videos and watch it in the living room. And I thought that was really, really cool. Like it's for geeks like us anyways that
Exactly.
remember that stuff, right? Like I'll be the one to go there and rent a night to stay at Blockbuster for
Yeah.
for the night,
It's a
watch some movies,
classic.
and yeah, I love
Oh
it. I have
yeah.
memories going there after school, just walking around, looking at the video games and the movies that's out, and like, okay, I'm gonna go and save up my $5 because I'm gonna rent this for 2 days
Yes.
to play this game. So it's
Exactly.
good memories for sure. So
Yep.
again, Ed, thank you so much for joining me today. Everybody,
Thank you.
definitely follow Ed. Check him out on socials too as well. So we'll drop the links below so you can get a hold of him. And again, thank you all so much for tuning in today. And if you ever have any questions, reach out to any one of us, and we'll be happy to point you in the right direction to any resources we have. Other than that, I'll catch you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching today. Bye bye. All right. So I absolutely love the conversation with Ed. He's definitely someone that's passionate about video and marketing and being able to leverage this tool because really when it comes to video, when you show up on video, you're able to build trust a lot more, right? Simply put, it's just like a barrier to entry almost, right? So a couple takeaways I've had, three of my top takeaways, is consistency is key. So in order to really truly know if this is going to work, you definitely want to do it consistently. So he says 3 to 6 months before accessing the results. Some people have said even up to a year, but I believe that 3 to 6 months gives you enough time. If you're doing it consistently, if you're posting and doing videos, let's say for example, you're doing weekly lives, even sharing some reels, multiple reels throughout the week, and hosting at least maybe let's say one masterclass webinar or something like that a month. And after 6 months, you're not seeing any clients come in, then yeah, it's you may have to do a different platform, a different approach for message, different offer or something like that. But definitely be consistent, as consistently breeds, for, it gets people to be really familiar with you. It breeds trust, and ultimately it allows for more conversions, right? The next thing is to repurpose your existing content. I thought this was actually really clever in the sense of, if you already have content, if you already have blogs, if you already have social media posts where you've gotten good interactions, good engagement, use that. Take that same topic and turn it into a video. It doesn't have to be an exact verbatim, where you're standing there reading or everything that you wrote, but adjust it. Give it a bullet point style. Talk about it. Use the same content. Repurpose it. You have a treasure trove of content already. Leverage it and use it. And I think this is great, because often when I come across is, what do I say in video? What do I, what's my topic going to be or so? Well, you already have it because you already have content. I think that's really cool. Next thing is a big one, right? Is to really overcome camera shyness. And, many entrepreneurs face camera shyness. I did when I first began. I shared in the interview where, if you watch the video I showed on screen, where I was on a hike and I just recorded videos talking. It's kind of like a little video journal, so to say. And essentially it's private, it's just for you, but it breaks that shyness a little bit of like, oh, my voice, my face, how I look, allows you to see what camera angles you really want to use. So you can actually now know, hey, I look good in this angle. I really do. And be more confident in it. So really, if you want to overcome camera shyness, it comes down to the simple solution that Ed mentioned. It's a practice. Start recording short videos on your phone, even if you don't plan to post them. And this will desensitize you to your own voice. It will desensitize you to seeing how you look on camera. Everyone looks different on camera than we do in the mirror. It's just one of those things where the camera itself it's old saying that the camera puts on like 5 pounds, right? So it's something just to be mindful of, that everyone goes through this. You're not alone in this, and it's something that you can see. Like, I practice it myself, so I'm preaching something that I practice. Ed was actually preaching something that he practices and I practice. So that's it for today. I hope you got a lot of value from that interview. Hopefully I sparked something in you, if you're not already using camera, to hop on the camera, start doing some videos for your content, and just embrace the power of video and the power it has on social media. Again, check out edtroxell.com for resources he provided today. And of course, if you ever need support, or you're looking to do more with your business, you want to scale, you want to generate more leads, obtain more clients, or looking to just find a way to get started, schedule a free strategy call with me. rfoodisane.com/start. We'll talk a lot about what it looked like to work with me as a coach, to work with me as your ads manager, to work with me and my team to be the agency that helps you to leverage the power of Facebook, Instagram, Google advertising to scale your business. So with that being said, I will catch you on the next episode. Have a great day, everybody.